$15,000 to $30,000. Let that sink in for a second. One sudden incident on the highway, and you're staring down a repair bill that could literally buy a small car. That's the very real out-of-pocket cost of a severe front-end collision if you're driving without the right coverage. So you really got to ask yourself, could your business actually survive that kind of bill? I mean, for an owner-operator or a fleet manager, a truck isn't just a vehicle, right? It's your entire livelihood. The moment it stops moving, your income flatlines, and the financial stress just skyrockets. Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are getting right into it and focusing on how to absolutely bulletproof your operation by breaking down physical damage insurance. We're going to demystify the details so you can get back on the road with total financial confidence. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. Protecting your livelihood, collision versus comprehensive, the cost of protection, minding the insurance gaps, and finally, avoiding costly mistakes. All right, let's start with part 1, protecting your livelihood. Think of this insurance as your ultimate frontline shield against accidents and those extreme non-wear and tear events. Without it, well, a crash isn't just an inconvenience anymore. It becomes this unbearable financial burden where you have to cover the entire replacement cost out of pocket, which honestly could permanently sideline your operation. Moving right along to part 2, collision versus comprehensive. So collision coverage pretty much does exactly what it says on the tin. It covers direct impacts, whether you hit another vehicle, slam into a stationary object like a telephone pole, or suffer a rollover, this is what steps in. It's the safety net that saves you from that $30,000 guardrail disaster by covering the repairs or paying out the replacement value if the rig gets totaled. Then you have comprehensive coverage. This one is all about the wild cards, the stuff that is completely outside of your control. We're talking theft, vandalism, massive hailstorms, wildfires, or even wildlife. If a deer suddenly darts onto a pitch-black rural highway, it isn't your fault, but the damage is still done. Comprehensive is what handles that sudden $5,000 repair bill. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept. Swerving into a guardrail to avoid sudden traffic, that's your collision coverage. Hitting a deer that jumps out of the woods, that's comprehensive. Having only one of these leaves a massive gaping vulnerability in your armor. You really do need both to be fully secure. Let's look at part 3, the cost of protection. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how much control you actually have over your premiums. Sure, it makes sense that a brand new truck or higher coverage limits will drive your costs up, but a spotless driving record? That significantly lowers your premium. And if you choose to take on a higher out-of-pocket deductible, that's going to shrink your daily costs even more. To put that into perspective, giving you a real-world benchmark, an independent owner-operator is usually looking at somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 a year for physical damage insurance. Of course, that depends entirely on their specific rig and the coverage limits they pick. But scale that up for a minute. If you're a fleet owner managing multiple trucks, your risk exposure just absolutely balloons. For fleets, annual premiums easily jump into the $5,000 to $20,000 range, or honestly even higher, just to maintain that vital armor across the entire board. Next up, part 4, mind the insurance gaps. So, the crucial point we need to make here is that physical damage insurance is strictly for your truck. It literally does not cover liability if you hit someone else's car, it doesn't cover the cargo sitting in your trailer, and, this is a big one, it won't cover damage caused by your own negligence, like skipping essential maintenance. Your shield has very specific boundaries. Which brings us to our final section, avoiding costly mistakes. Listen, please don't fall into these common traps. First off, skipping either comprehensive or collision just to save a little cash leaves you dangerously exposed. Second, underinsuring your vehicle means you're going to be short on funds if you need to replace a completely totaled rig. And third, don't just blindly pick a massive deductible to get a cheaper premium, unless you genuinely have that kind of cash sitting in the bank for an emergency. Let's move to a solid game plan and see how this builds step by step. Number 1, accurately assess your truck's true value. Number 2, honestly evaluate your route risks. Like, if you drive through extreme weather, you need robust, comprehensive coverage. 3, always compare quotes, because the quality of the coverage matters just as much as the price. And 4, pick a realistic deductible that you can actually afford if the worst happens. So I want you to ask yourself right now, is your livelihood fully protected, or are you just partially covered? Physical damage insurance really is the ultimate safety net for your business. Do yourself a favor, Pull out your policy today, check your limits, and ensure your shield is fully intact. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, stay safe out there.